Charlie, how do you see values in the OSV market developing over the next 12 months?
Well, over the coming months, I think they will probably stagnate. I think where we'll actually see growth in the offshore market is in the volume of transactions, as people pick up distressed tonnage at very low prices.
We were having a little bit of a chat, and you'd done some sort of back-of-the-envelope calculations, if I can put it like that, on the implications of scrapping OSVs aged 15 years or over that aren't DP2. Share your findings with us.
Well, thanks Larry Rigdon for bringing that one up. So we actually found that of the 2,100 vessels, I think it's 2,191 vessels, close to 1,800 of them are not DP2. So he's suggesting scrapping nigh on 1,800 vessels, which would be pretty extreme. But I don't know, it would certainly help the market, that's for sure.
Now, what isn't in doubt is there is a disparity between the values given by different valuation services and obviously the traditional brokers. How do you sort of cope with that? Because obviously some might say it discredits one particular source or another.
Well, I mean, we encourage our clients to use us in conjunction with brokers and other sources. What we try and give is something that's clear and something that's backed up with data, and we'll tie every value to, well, basically every value has an input that we can explain, whereas a traditional valuation might not have everything laid out there, and that's what we just try and bring is some transparency. There was a question on whether broker valuations, are we going to take over from broker valuations, and I don't think so. I think there's definitely still value in having a broker. They have a very specific knowledge of certain vessels, and VesselsValue, we have a broad knowledge of many vessels, or the sort of global fleet. But, there's if a guy sees it outside his office, he might have more of an impression of the vessel than us sitting in our office in London.
You explained to us the role that AIS plays in your work, but of course many vessels do not have AIS commissioned, and of course many vessels don't switch on AIS, perhaps for security reasons. So how do you reconcile that?
Well, the simple answer is that we don't. What we present is a picture of the market, and those are some shortfalls of that. Those situations we can't avoid. But we do use the recency of the AIS signal. And if a vessel does switch its AIS component off, then we'll have the last signal registered, but we just won't have its current location.
Interestingly, you told me that most of the OSV buyers today are outside the OSV market.
Yeah, well, we've seen distressed credit players come in, particularly over the last sort of 6 to 12 months, and that's where I see the sort of growth in sort of the offshore is these guys coming in and picking up vessels that don't have any bad debt attached to them, and picking them up at extremely low rates. So I sort of cite the Hartman transactions of those HTS vessels. It was good quality modern tonnage sold at break-even prices, well, basically nothing, and that is a speculative asset play, and I think we'll see a lot more of that.